movement for safer communities, safer streets. My name is Carlin Morse. I have been the commander of the 15th District approximately 2 months. I'm happy to be here. I'm humbled, and I just love the Austin community, love the 15th District. I've had some awesome experiences here. This community has embraced me. They opened their arms, and I've opened mine, and we're just gonna close our arms around each other, and we're gonna continue to move forward with the great work that my predecessor and those before him have done here. So, like I always tell everyone, nothing's gonna change. The relationship that you have with our community policing office, with our district advisory councils, with the faith-based community, as it involves 15th District Austin, nothing's gonna change. We're just gonna continue that great work. A little bit about me: I have 27 years on Chicago Police Department. Prior to this, I was in the 20th Andersonville, the 20th District, as well as prior to that, I spent some time in community policing, some time in the near west side in the 12th District, 2nd District, 3rd District, and 5th Districts as lieutenants. I also spent some time at the training academy running in-service training for the department there. Prior to that, I was a sergeant at the academy. I was a sergeant at our Crime Prevention Information Center. I was a sergeant at our Research and Development Center writing policy. I was a sergeant in the 3rd District, and then I have some time as a detective and some other units all around the department, but nobody really wants to hear about me. But that's it. Anyone have any questions? All right, well, thanks a lot for listening to my boring spiel, and don't throw eggs at me too much. Sorry I can't stay a long time. I have another meeting that's equally as important, so I wanted to give half and half. So, but when you see me out there, please touch me, talk to me. I love it. And if you're ever by the 15th District, please stop in and say hello and give me a visit in my office, and we'll sit and we'll talk. We'll have some coffee, some water, some tea, whatever it is you like. And nothing more I like to work with the community and serving the community. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you, Sergeant. Thank you, Sergeant. Three chevrons. Okay, great. I don't want to disrespect anybody. Hello, Brother Sabu. You know what? We're going to start in about, you want to start now? Outstanding. Okay, well, he said we can start. So that being stated, let me first of all say to the evening, we have comment cards. We actually want our district to actually use them because it helps capture the minutes. We're recording as well so that we can remember your verbiage and the nomenclature that you use, because some of you are so intelligent. You know, you speak above our heads, and sometimes we have to go and define it with the dictionary or something. I was joking, you got the tough crowd tonight. Okay, I'll stop. That being stated, are you ready, Brother Isaiah? Did you send it to me? You're the best, thank you. Okay, well, the agenda is what I'm gonna pull up. Yes, sir. Right here. You're the best. All right, so that being stated, we're gonna, that being stated, we're going to follow the agenda. I'm going to apologize for you ahead of time because many of you wanted our Texas Street. I didn't print it, so I just took responsibility for that. You can throw the eggs that you wanted that you said on Friday. It's okay. So that being said, before we go any further, we're going to call the meeting to order and create a quorum. So that being stated, nominated Councilor Winters.
Present.
Community Engagement Officer, Councilor Ludis,
Present.
and Chair, Councilor Burrows is present. So quorum is any 2/3, we're always present. So we have a quorum, therefore, we call the meeting to order because we're present. So that being stated, we are make the decision. The meeting is now in session. We always start with what's, ma'am?
Y'all have a microphone with?
You can't hear us?
Yeah, you are talking soft.
You started off up there, then you went down.
How's that?
Sound good. I can hear you.
All right.
All right.
I can project, absolutely. Thank you for that correction. That being stated, we normally start with what's called the moment of silence for religious purposes. We don't want to offend anybody, so we don't necessarily say we'll pray. So that being stated, if we could just acknowledge there's a lot of carnage in the street, a lot of people that have lost their lives, and most of all, a lot of us have met tragedy. So that being stated, not to mention what's going on in other parts of the world. So if we could just acknowledge a moment of silence at this time. You're so kind, thank you. All right. So we jumped the gun, determine the form was already done. And I'm gonna start with the approval of minutes here. You know you guys have this, right? And I don't have it, I see. But that's okay, I can get it from you. All right, so while CPD makes their exit, we're going to, pull up our minutes from last month.
Thank you for having us, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, take care.
Thank you. Okay, so our meetings from last month at Build, which was September 12th, 2023, and it was held at the same time, 6 o'clock, 5100 West on Harrison. It took place where the quorum was present, and the content is as follows. The community engagement officer, Councilor Rudis, basically informed us that the community engagement is creating a Google Drive to grassroots organizations so that we can retrieve and sustain our resources throughout the community. The District Peace Circle was held at the 800 and 900 block of Lockwood. There will be one, and he said, in 2 weeks if officers' schedule permits, on the 5200 block of Van Buren. This is an opportunity to build relationships with officers and your neighbors. We understand if some of you may be uncomfortable around officers, but this is the time to express positive or negative interactions. Our newsletter comes out roughly every 2 weeks. You can receive the paper copy, which I believe Brother Rudis has on the table, and we can also send it virtually. If you leave your email, we'll send it to you. Nominating committee works alongside with 21 other nominators whose job is to select new commissioners. As you know, we have one. The nominators was research and search through qualified candidates and choose 14 individuals, and the mayor will choose the 7 finalists. Further minutes states the commission voted. May I turn this sideways? Thank you. Much better. The commission voted to eliminate the game database. Woo-hoo. It was very problematic because there were people whose names were on it but never read the games, and also others who have been as old as 118 years old. So it was proven that once your name was in the base, you couldn't get it off. It prohibited people from getting jobs, advancement, security, apartments, and other opportunities. District councilors are scheduled to meet with Mayor Johnson on September 24th. That did not take place, to discuss some challenges that we're having. What we would like to see come from the body of this particular work, and to establish what accountability looks like. We will also discuss the relationship with the CCPSA, because this started as a people's movement, but now the people are not feeling like it is, so they asked to become the barriers and the restrictors. They asked. Is that what that is? Typo. Got it. So basically what they're asking for has become a barrier or a restriction. Sorry about that. District councils are scheduled, okay, your phone is doing something strange. Let me go back. Okay. Introduction to the Institute of Nonviolence, which is also known as the INVC. Maurice Williams and Tavares Harrington, were the interrupters who talked to us on that particular day. Copa was also present. Laquan McDonald's highlighted the 2007 incident was denoted. And I'm gonna skip the verbiage because it's actually, your phone is having an issue. It does not like it. Get in line sometime. All right, so that being stated, Otis Johnson received his legacy award on the 15th District's floor. as well as Officer William Martinez, woo, received the Above and Beyond Award for his service as an officer in the 15th District. Praise Jesus. Some of the other votes were taken as follows. Description of the results win and fall. Okay, that's something that's your verbiage. No worries. So that being stated, forgive the gibberish. I'm sorry I had to read from his phone because I did not do my homework and print what was needed. So that being stated, can I have a motion to have those particular minutes in its errors that I wrote and that I read, either corrected or approved?
I approve the minutes from 9/12 meeting.
It has been, nomination has been given by Dr.
Almost
there, he's going for his PhD.
Almost.
So, Councilor Rudis and second by Councilor Winters, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, so the minutes have been approved as read with no corrections. All right, that being stated, next report on the agenda. Again, if you guys want me to send this to you, I will. I will send it so you can follow along. By all means. Okay, so at this particular time, we want to do something to inform you that your hard work was actually taken heed to. Councilor Rudis is, Councilor Winters is going to tell us what the mission and vision statement ended up being, or whoever got it. Outstanding. So,
Yeah, so over the last couple meetings, starting in June, we had a couple of, how you call it,
roundtable.
breakouts, that's what I was thinking of. Roundtable activities in which we wanted to include the community so that you all can help us come up with a mission statement for the 15th District Police Council, because obviously we represent you all. And so for those couple of meetings, what we end up coming up with from the input, again, gathered from the community, and this shall be our mission statement moving forth. And so hopefully you all can accept it and feel like there's everything that is included in this. And if not, you know, we got some comment cards y'all could say maybe these one or two things are missing. So anyway, our mission statement for the 15th Police District Council is as such. In the 15th Police District, we, as district councilors, are driven by a profound mission to forge a sanctuary of safety where accountability takes root through the genuine connections between our diverse residents and CPD. We will ensure that every voice spanning from our youth to our seniors resonates with importance as we pledge to unite, educate, and empower all.
Woo-hoo!
Wait a minute,
How you like
I
that?
got some issues.
That came from you.
Yeah, so that was a collaboration between the different community members that came to some meetings prior, and we just put it together. So thank you all.
And we believe in a cohesiveness, collaborative effort. And I know that, speaking, a lot of you may, this is new, and this is about making it whatever you want it to be. I know a lot of us are in various organizations. Some people adhere to Robert's Rules of Order, some people adhere to the Golden Rules, some people other have protocols and things of that nature. But I am going to ask a resident, and they may get me later, they can vote me out of it if they like, to make a motion to accept or refute that mission statement. Because this is historical. We didn't come up with all of that verbiage. We did not. We didn't come up with the language. That's you. That's you and your fellow residents. And we took those 2 months of sheets and notes and deciphered and came up with just what you just heard. So with the people that are present, are you opposed to the motion being made from the floor instead of the council? Okay.
They know how to motion.
Well, you know what? We'll let them impress you, because I believe they do. May I have a motion on the floor for someone to make a motion, and that lady right there. Hello, I know it. I felt it in my shoulder.
Okay. I'll make a motion that the, mission statement as read by DeAndre Reed
DeAndre.
be be received and adopted.
Outstanding. Your name, ma'am, for the record?
L'Oreal Sorrell.
Last name?
Sorrell, S-O-R-R-E-L-L.
Maria Sorrell.
Got it. May I have someone to follow Mrs. Sorrell's motion with a
Sorrell.
second? S-O-R-R-E-A-L.
No, E-L-L.
E-L-L, got it, Sorrell. Got it, not real well. Thank you. Someone to second that motion? Go for it.
I said,
And your name, please?
Beverly Lewis,
Lewis, common spell.
Lewis.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Okay, thank you. So it has been motioned by Mrs. Sorrell, and it has been seconded by Melody Lewis, that the mission statement, as Council Lewis has read, be adopted in its entirety. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Outstanding. Is that an opposition?
Oh, no, no.
Oh, okay. Not a problem, not a problem. Okay, so there you have it. Mission statement as read is adopted and will be the official, mission statement of the 15th district. Give yourself a hand. I like that. I like that. Yeah, so do I. Mission, see what happens when, many hands make light work. Good things come to pass. All right, the next thing on the agenda. Yes, ma'am. There you have it. District members, approval minutes, updates.
Okay, well, so, let me see, updates for me for this month, is one thing I wanted to highlight is that I did attend. Okay, so I am a Ray White Karen Winters, and in this body, I am the nominator. So I'll be the one responsible for, helping to, pick candidates for the next, community commission. 'Cause right now, we just have the interim commission. And so I'm gonna get into some of that a little later on, because we kinda need some input from the community. But we'll select 14 members that will go before the mayor, and the mayor will pick 7 of those, persons to serve on the permanent commission. Well, permanent as in serve their term on the commission, and so that's my role. But I just want to share a few things that I've done since last month. One thing I did go to the community conversation with the 15th police district, and it was to create the 2024 strategic plan. It was on Thursday, September 28th at Michelle Clark High School. It was an intergenerational conversation. It was a very robust conversation about people just lifting up their voices in terms of what they want to see happen between community and the police district over the coming year. And the part 2 of that conversation will be, as flyers here on the table, will be Thursday, October 19th at Field Inc. at 5100 West Harrison at 6:30 p.m. I've done a lot of other things and I'm a little brain drained, got a sinus headache. What else did I do? We did make roll call. We had the fortunate opportunity that our commander set up some days for us to meet the officers. We made all 6 roll calls and met our officers and just share with them, like we share with you what our roles and responsibilities are, and some engagement that we're gonna have moving forward. And what else? So for the 15th Police District, I am also working on accountability action plan, because like Carmelita said, this is new, and so right now we don't necessarily have an infrastructure, and so I am working on that, and hopefully next month I'll be able to present that to the community. Just some things I'll share is that, for instance, like we should do an open house with our police department. We're looking maybe to do something like that in the spring, so we can go in and meet our department and the tier and see who is responsible for what, because a lot of times we don't always know those things, and that's good information to have. as well as other things. And like, we're not just looking for punitive measures, right? When we think of accountability, we always looking at, they do something wrong, how we're gonna, punish them or hold them accountable. But for me, accountability means so much more than that. It's also, it truly is about our engagement with them and getting to know them. So there are a lot of things that, we're working on because it's new. And she did mention the meeting with the mayor. That hasn't been solidified as of yet, but it is hopefully coming within the next month or so. And our chairperson will be representing the 15th district in that meeting. And what else have I done? I can't, here's my calendar right here. But I think that's all I have for now. If anything else, I will come back to it when I do so we did roll call. Now, I just want to say something about 15. So because we do have a good working relationship with our commander, we had one with Commander Parham, because a lot of districts are struggling with that relationship with their commanders. They haven't made their roll call, so they're actually ahead of the game in 15. So much so that, someone from the CCPSA staff say, Mission 15 could be a model. One, we have a good synergy between us, and, we bring in, a different kind of energy into this work. So I'm grateful that we have the department that we have, and looking forward to working with them and building, stronger relationships with the community. Because one of the things the ordinance says that when you have strong relationships between community and the police department, it could hopefully help circumvent a lot of the things that are happening in our communities, a lot of the violent crimes and domestic violence and everything else that is happening. So that is all I think I have to report for now.
So I'm DeAndre Rudis. I am the community engagement specialist for our group. What that means is I'm essentially the facilitator of communication between police and community. I work to build the relationships. I also search for resources, other people, organizations, and whomever else needs to be a part of this public safety, police accountability structure, so that we can improve, again, the relationships, as well as the public safety outcomes and hopefully police accountability outcomes along with it. One of the things that I've been doing is I am the creator of our newsletters. So, each month these come out roughly 2 weeks following our meeting. So if you signed up with your email, I can start sending these out to you via email. So if you do miss our meetings, essentially it contains roughly what happened during the meetings. I also make sure that I record those meetings and put them on YouTube. I also put the little link right here where you can just type it in and find it. So again, if you can't make the meetings, we do have these for you. I also keep track of both our comment cards. We definitely want to hear from you all. So if there are issues that you don't want to make in public, maybe the police are around, because our meetings will have police presence. We encourage you to fill these out. There's also a public safety and police accountability survey. We just really want to gauge where we are in this process. We probably will have some more metrics to really guide the work that we're doing, but as of now, we do have this, so we would definitely like to see where things are now, and next time we look at it within the next 4 years, when these seats become available, we would love to see that we made a huge dent in the way people see public safety and accountability. So both of those come my way. In addition to those things, I also am creating the database of the organizations, resources, and people that can help with the public safety issue. It is a Google Drive. If folks want access to it, they very well can. One of the things that came up during one of the meetings is a noise ordinance. The neighbors were complaining about the noise on a particular block. And so we had our staff from the CCPSA find the noise ordinance, and that is uploaded to that document, to that Google Drive. Same thing with the trespass affidavit. We had, in one of our meetings, one of the issues that came up is trespassing. So we also uploaded that document. So basically it's gonna be a collection of the resources that you all need to improve public safety, right? With our help, of course, because we'll be the ones that can help with whatever those issues are. Also, I am the one that go around roughly, and I know, I should say, we do hand out these flyers roughly like 3 days or so before the meeting, so people can kind of be abreast of it. We don't want to give it too early or too late, so that is something that I've been working on month to month, is trying to figure out that sweet spot to get people to come out to the meetings. Also, the next thing that I am planning with the other community engagement specialists of the district councils, so these are some from the west side as well as the near north area. We have a Know Your Rights forum going on. So that is gonna be 11/4, so that's a Saturday at 10 a.m. And that's going to be at 5730 West Division. And again, that's a Know Your Rights forum, and we're gonna have, the ACLU has already confirmed they'll be there. We're looking to get first legal aid to attend, and potentially someone from the state's attorney's office, just so that folks could get a better idea of what they can do when stopped on foot or in their cars, as well as a little bit of information about the traffic stop that happened on the west side, because predominantly we are stopped at a higher rate, but their paraphernalia and everything that police officers typically search for are found less often. And so we want to make sure that people are aware of that. And so that'll take place once again, 11/4, Saturday, 10 a.m. at 5730 West Division. It'll kind of be like a joint effort between the 15th and 25th districts.
You already have our email, what you just said, do you guys send out that information?
Absolutely. I can send a flyer to your emails, yep.
Okay.
And what else I wanted to mention? Oh, the Peace Circle thing. So according to the minutes, we would have had a Peace Circle a couple weeks ago at Build. It didn't happen. And so we're looking to do it actually next week at Build. This will be the 52 and 5300 block of Van Buren. It really isn't a district council focused activity. That is part of what I do for New York University and trying to bridge the gap between police and community, but other community members are welcome. One of the things that I would like to establish as a district council member is listening tours, however. So if you, on your block, have issues with public safety and or policing, you can call myself or the team out here, and we would love to stop by and just hear what those issues are. Again, we are elected officials, so those go on public record, and that helps keep track of the issues so that, again, we can see if we're making a difference in public safety and police accountability.
What is CCPSA?
Yes, the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability.
I wanted to ask if there was another forum for seniors or people who are unable to come out to meetings, especially during the winter. Is there a way to, say, for Zooming a meeting or a different, some other way of communication? Or to engage those that don't come or won't come or can't come?
So we have okayed virtual meetings for our meetings. Particularly, we're gonna be looking at maybe December, right? But one of the things about the CCPSA is they wanted us to have in-person meetings. So we're trying to help by recording for folks that can't attend the meetings. And again, if you just, you listen to it back and have any questions, then you can always reach out. But right now, we are looking at trying to have that virtual option for, hopefully December, January, February. We know it gets colder and it's more difficult to come out. So, yeah, we'll figure that out in some way, I'm sure.
I know you knew.
Yeah,
Everything is new.
right.
Oh, can we speak?
Of course.
Oh, well, thank you so very
$5.
much. I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody for attending. It's a police accountability, correct? And you're trying to find ways to strategize in regards to the citizens and the police, right? For the both of us. And they do have a tough job, let me say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, what I would like to know in regards to police accountability, don't the culture, the police culture, the blue wall have to be torn down first in order to have real police accountability. And the reason being because in regards to, Cobra, is they here tonight?
No.
No.
They was at the last meeting.
That's the last meeting. I'm talking about this.
But they're still
No,
available,
no,
they're still available for you.
But anyway, in regards to that, how can you have real police accountability in regards to Cobra? In the event they are the one that does the investigation in regards to a police misconduct, if the police do anything that would be, illegal in regards to citizens or in regards to breaking the law. So how can you have real police accountability in the city picking?
Right. You know what, I think, well, one, we have a community commissioner here, and that is the next level of accountability, if you will, from a community member's perspective. And I think she can explain a little bit better exactly what their role will be in helping to kind of offset some of what can seem to be conflict of interest, so.
Yes, and with that being said, because a working relationship with the public and the citizens, it really needs to grow, right? Because without that, you can't build a trust.
Right, absolutely.
Right? And the trust has been broken in some cases, and it's real serious, nothing to take for granted, because they do have a tough job, right? And statistics, this is what statistics say, that you are in the #1 most corrupted city in America. So, something wrong with that bitch. All right? So it seems like resources should be poured into that in regards to building the trust. Not saying that it's just police officers, because you got a lot of good police officers, but the bad ones make the good ones look. Okay? But everybody pointing the finger, right? In regards to a good officer just trying to do his job, right? So what's wrong with that? Because we have to have law and order.
I get it, and
But-
law and order, I'm glad you said that, because in order for her to answer
Cut me
your
off,
question
let's see.
before you
Go
go
ahead.
to, no, I didn't cut you off. What I did do, I'm trying to give you, we're not in open discussion. It sounds like you have a lot of information. What I'm going to suggest, as the chair of this meeting, is to let you know that we have comment cards. Please write those down so that you won't forget your thought, because we also have an agenda to follow. So with that commissioner who's present that you referenced, if you want her to address that question he had, fine, but we have to continue with our particular meeting, and then when it comes to open discussion, I'll come right back to you. That's fair.
Yeah, that's why I asked what could we speak.
Yeah, I didn't know that you
No
were so
problem, ma'am.
copious, no worries. Do you want that commissioner to answer that question before we go?
Well,
I appreciate
no,
it.
you gotta introduce yourself.
Well, okay, so that being stated, I'm gonna make it very quick because I want you to finish. I'm Carmelita Earls, the chairperson of the particular meeting. This is, I'm gonna tell you to go to the municipal code of 2-80-020. So you can learn the letter of the law and the nomenclature as to what our purpose here is for. And if you can recite that, to your psyche or whatever you need to do, you'll understand that the work here is huge. But we are only limited by our imagination. And it's gonna take all of us, just like you guys showed up and showed out for that mission statement. It's gonna take the same thing for us to lay the tapestry for this foundational work for the next 40 years. Or should I say the next 3 years, three and 4 months, because we're well into it. So that being stated, as the chair, this is what I consider myself. I'm the person that likes to creatively engage people. What I think that police accountability and public safety, that's a beautiful thing, but you know where this starts? Community accountability. It starts with us with us policing our own homes, our blocks, our neighbors, and then understanding that, I'll say this again, we know who Pookie, Ray Ray, and Junebug is. And when something happens on our block, we for the most part do not necessarily tell Officer Friend who we can go and get, because it's somebody that we know. So community accountability is gonna be a great part of tearing that blue wall down. There's a black wall that's in our community too, and we need to make sure that we fracture that, because unfortunately, we know who the community terrorists, if I can use that term, without being insensitive to what's happening in Israel right now. If I could just say that, if we could just be accountable at that level, good Lord, I got news for you. What's gonna happen here is going to be phenomenal. There's a reason people are talking about 15th district, because you have 3 different people. I've never met either one of them prior to this election. but we have come to the table and decided to set the individualism aside to do the work in this space. So as the chair, I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing. You know, when you sit in that chair that you're sitting in, you then check the seat to see if it's gonna hold you. So trust what's in front of you as well. Rest yourself in knowing that. So that being stated, thank you very much. I'm gonna move on for the next part of the agenda, and that is to have Brother Brian, Brother David here to talk from JSA. I'll say CJA, excuse me.
CJ, no problem.
Too many acronyms, man.
I got you, I got you.
But I did get Dave right, thank you.
Correct, correct, thank you
That's
so
all that
much.
matters. Come on up so we can get you at the roll.
Sure. Thank you all. Glad to have you all here. I'm Dave Zaleski. I work at Chicago Jesuit Academy. I've been here for about 6 years. I just want to tell you really quick about our school. First of all, thank you all for coming tonight. I hope you're enjoying our space. We are tuition-free elementary and middle school, grades 3 through 8. We are faith-based, open to all faiths. But our mission is to serve the kids, to make sure they walk in this door knowing that this is a safe space and that they are loved. And we want them to be a person for others and to care for the whole student. So with that, we do it with tuition-free, fee-free school. We have other people who pay for the scholarships for the students who come here. The families really don't pay anything. We have smaller class sizes. We have 24 students in a class and 2 co-teachers, 2 full-time teachers for the 24 students, plus sometimes teacher aides and others. We have multiple social workers. We have a full-time nurse. We have lots of activities like sports, music. We have 2 professional musicians who work here, or professional jazz musicians. We have a college and career persistence office that stays with the students, helps them find the best fit high school, helps them after high school, all the way until the mid-20s. The goal is meaningful employment. We've been around since 2005, and we were all boys up until about 2 or 3 years ago. And we started, said, okay, we think we can double our size and start adding girls. So we've got grades 3, 4, and 5 girls right now. Next year will be grade 6.
Woohoo!
A couple more years will be girls grades 3 through 8. So we're growing with those girls. They'll graduate 8th grade with us. And that's why we doubled the size of our school basically and built this other half. So we're in the old wing, the old Resurrection Parish. This used to be, I heard, a shallow basement. And
I used to roller skate down here.
yeah, the auditorium was above us.
That was my age.
The auditorium is now our gym. But anyway, we're happy that you're here. We've been in the community since 2005. We want to continue to be a part and grow as a part of the community, support the community. We've got about 7 or 8 alumni working at our school, working with the students. They're young professionals back in here. We have some in development, some on building and grounds, and some in the classroom being a teacher. So anyway, I could talk, and if anyone ever wants to come visit the school, if you know anyone, let them know. But if you just want to see a resource in your community, I'd love to show you around, give the kids a chance to come up and meet you, a 3rd grader, a 5th grader, an 8th grader, tell you about what they're doing, give them those at-bats. Good for sales, good for everything in life. But yeah, I'm just happy you're here, happy to be a part of the community. So thank you.
If you all have any questions for Dave?
Feel free to take a flyer on the way out. Sorry to cut you off.
What's your enrollment? What's the enrollment?
We have 240 right now. We're going to grow to 310 next year. And once we're grades 3 through 8 boys and girls, we're going to be about 400.
Great. So what are the demographics of the school? The racial demographics?
Great question. We are 80 to 85% black. We want to be a neighborhood school. We accept students on a first come, first served basis. So we're about 80 to 85% black and 15 to 20% Hispanic Latino. We have a growing population coming from Cicero. We are faith-based, open to all faiths. We pray before every class, but you know, it's more of a meaningful finding values, you know, thinking about being a part of the community. And if students don't want to pray, we just ask that you know, quietly, respectfully, be a part of it.
But is it considered a Catholic school? I mean, I think I saw something that was a Catholic school.
Yeah, correct. Yes, it is a Catholic school. The Jesuits are part of the Catholic tradition. Only about 20% of our students are Catholic. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you again, Dave, for that. All right, I'm going to lateral this over to, the council so that they can speak, our guest speaker.
So we have one of the community commissioners present, so we really wanted to bring her in so she could talk about the work that the community commission has done. As the nominator mentioned, she and the rest of the nominators have a task in front of them to select the people that will go in front of the mayor, who will then select the permanent community commission. And I don't really want to say a whole lot about Ramel because Ramel is remarkable. She is from the west side of Chicago, works with the West Side chapter NAACP, does a multitude of things that, frankly, I'm not going to remember everything. So what I would like to do is like to bring Ramel up from the Community Commission, and she can tell you more about herself.
Ramel Terry, everybody. Wherever you come from.
So before I sit, I'll just introduce myself really quickly. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you guys for the hand claps. I don't really ask for it, but I do appreciate the acknowledgement. So I am Ramel Terry. I am a lifelong Chicagoan, and anyone who has ever encountered me, I am a very proud West Sider. West Side all day in any space. I don't care what profession, it's West Side. So, just a little bit about myself. I have been working with the Chicago West Side NAACP for about 14, 15 years at this particular point. Any work that I have ever done with that organization is all volunteer, so that means I am committed, right? I don't do this work because I get notoriety. I don't do it because I'm getting paid. I do it because I'm passionate about my people and I care about our outcomes. And so in that, I serve as the first vice president and political action chair. I also am here, I was invited here for my role. Currently, I am one of the interim commissioners for the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability. Yes, that is a mouthful. We also refer to it shorthand as CCPSA. In that work, I was selected as one of the, because all of us are citywide commissioners, but we had to have a certain background criteria, and I believe I fit the West Side criteria. And the work that we do as a commission, most of you are probably familiar with us from this most recent superintendent search. Myself, along with President Driver, were the two that led this process. So there was a lot of work that went into it. We spent 119 days. Well, that was once the announcement was made, but we had also been working prior to that point of former Superintendent David Brown announcing his resignation to figure out what a potential process could look like. So we now have Superintendent Snelling, who was recently confirmed, but to me, that's really a small part of the work, but because that is such an important job, right? A lot of people paid attention to the commission, paid attention to the district councils and our work. Some of the more important things I think that we are responsible for, not more important, but also important things that we are responsible for is CPD policy. So no CPD general order can get passed without majority vote from our commission. So that is a really big deal, and it is a lot of work. It's a lot of heavy lifting. But I will tell you that when we enter into that work, it is a collaborative effort. We've been excited under the interim work with former Superintendent Fred Waller, and of course now under Superintendent Larry Snelling, of the experience we've had with CPD of being open to the recommendations that we've had related to policy, as again, we've always entered this process from a collaborative perspective. Some of the other authority that we have is that all of the policing agencies within Chicago, we have some sort of oversight. So with COPA, which is the Civilian Office for Police Accountability, we have the ability to hire and fire the chief administrator. We also create goals for the chief administrator. We also create goals for the superintendent of police. We also create goals for the police board president. And so in those goals that we create as a commission, we have check-ins and things of that nature to make sure they're on task or answering questions. If you've ever come to any of our commission meetings, you will see these individuals present. So we have the authority to ask of these individuals to be present at our meetings to provide insight on any of the issues in which they are responsible for. We are also tasked with the nominees for the police board. So if any of you are familiar, that is another body that actually, I don't even know what I want to say the correct term is, but if there's ever a decision presented by COPA, chief administrator, and the superintendent where they do not agree, then the police board are the individuals who then decide what should be the outcome of that case. Now, the importance of this new authority that we have is because previously, similar to the superintendent, those processes about how you made it to the police board were all behind closed doors. You just got appointed, no one probably even knew how to apply. But once we took over the process as a commission, we've now opened this up to anyone who is interested. So if anyone in this room today, if you're interested, there's still opportunities for you to apply to be a member of the police board. There are outlined qualifications, so you will need to meet those qualifications, but again, the process is open, and similarly to what the district councils are responsible for in determining what nominees they're gonna put before Mayor Johnson for finalized appointment to an official commission, we also present 3 nominees per vacancy to the mayor so that he can select one from that. So these are really big deals. We also have the authority to bring about a vote of no confidence in the superintendent. What that means is that it would enact a hearing that city council would have to hear from us as to why we've made a determination that we don't, that we voted with no confidence. So as you can see, that is a lot of work. And I'm still missing some things. I know that when I take this seat, I'll think of some other things. But that is a lot of the work that we are tasked with. There are 7 commissioners. And the way that we choose to divvy up that work is because of OMA, which is Open Meetings Act rules. We have assigned like 2 of us to each. So for myself, I serve on the superintendent search committee. I also serve as part of the policy committee. And then I'm also a part of community engagement. So anytime DeAndre has asked me if I'm available, I will come out. I've gone to some of the block club meetings, and it's not just the West Side. I've been in the 20th district. Whomever reaches out, if I have availability, then I try to come out and share about what's happening with the commission and answer any questions with the knowledge that I do have. And so happy to be here to answer questions within my purview, but I did want to level set sort of the understanding of our authority, because I think sometimes the assumption is that we can tell some of these organizations what to do, and we cannot. We can establish goals, right? But how they choose to execute whatever they're tasked with is on their own. I can't go in and tell Superintendent Snellen, like, you need to do X, Y, and Z. We don't have that authority, right? However, we are an oversight entity, so if there are things that any of these agencies are or are not doing, then we can bring them to the table to have a conversation about our thoughts, and also bring them before the community, right? To have that conversation publicly. And one other thing, our OIG, our Office of Inspector General, we can also request, right, that they do some research on our behalf based on certain issues. So that's another avenue that we have as a commission in terms of pursuing oversight and things of that nature. So that's a little bit about me. I know a lot of familiar faces in the room. Please pardon some of my tiredness. My brother back there can confirm I've been really busy standing in solidarity with folks in Amundsen Park. So again, this commission is not my job. So just to be clear, the commission is not my job. They give us a nominal, very nominal stipend per month. If anything, they owe me money. But again, thank you all, and yeah, so I'll open it up for questions.
Anyone have questions for Ms. Terry?
That was a mouthful.
You covered everybody. You covered everything. Oh, yeah.
But ladies first, I'm a gentleman. Any ladies wanna go first?
You have a question then?
No, I'm in pain, I'm just trying to.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Well, I'm proud of the work that you do. Let me say that. So in regards to, you said that y'all, in regards to the policies, y'all help plan them with the police department?
With CPD, so yeah, so we can create CPD policy. So you weren't here at the beginning of the meeting when they mentioned that the commission essentially got rid of the CEIS system, which is the criminal enterprise, what was it, investigation system or something like that, also known as a gang database. So what that was about is that we created a CPD policy around directives, like updating the policy around directives. And so in passing that policy, it gave us oversight and jurisdiction over any policy that CPD would create that was rooted in that type of system. Meaning that if they were gonna create another sort of gang database system, that it would have to come through the commission, which means that we would have to work collaboratively on that happening. So when the policy that allowed them to function independently, that is essentially, we got rid of that by saying that any policy around directives, we should be working collaboratively together. So any general order, because they also have other types of orders, but any general order, it cannot be implemented without majority vote from this commission, which is why the work of the nominators will be very important, right? Because we don't know what the landscape will look like for the permanent commission, because I foresee that they will have a daunting task to go through all of those applications. Myself and President Driver, we had 54 people that applied for the superintendent search, and I can vouch that both of us individually reviewed every single application that came before us. And I know with the sort of elevation of this work, I foresee a lot of people applying for this, and so they'll have a, like I said, daunting task to go through all of those applications to ensure that they're putting forth the best nominees for this permanent commission, because as I pointed out, all of that authority sits in this commission's hands, and you really want to ensure you have the best folks at the table.
Wow, well, thank you. Well, I didn't just come here just to sit and listen. I had a question or two. So what about consent decree? Are they following those policies?
You said, are they following those policies?
Yeah.
Well, we know where they are as it relates to consent decree, but I wouldn't be the best person to give you all the details. That's a superintendent question. And so I will also plug that we will be having a West Side hearing or listening session now that Superintendent Snelling has been confirmed in his position. And I do expect and would hope that you all come out to that, because I had a listening session on the West Side prior to the application process, and we're having this now that Superintendent Snelling is in position, and he will be present there to hear about all of the concerns. There was already a hearing, so that's more so in terms of the specifics, but, because we don't have oversight over consent decree.
I know.
Yeah, we don't have oversight over consent decree, but we will be working collaboratively with the department to ensure whatever those gaps or opportunities that's hindering them from meeting that, how we can support them. Because the reality of it is, all of us have to work together with Superintendent Snelling, with our officers,
Mhm.
to ensure that what we expect happens, cause it can't happen just with them doing the work.
One more last question. Thank you very much again. I think they are wonderful officers. I can feel her spirit. So my spirit let me know she all right. So I go by my spirit, right? Last question. So in regards to, I think she's chair, I don't know. The young lady spoke about, in regards to about Lil Pookie. It's sad that black folks' minds have been enslaved to turn on one another. Let me say that. I'm not a part of the self-destruction. I don't want to tie down the hope. I want to build it up. Let me say this in regards to. She made a statement about people, citizens telling on Lil Pookie. But I kind of deal with the Lil Pookies in the neighborhood, right? They used to be a part of my job, trying to stop violence. So Lil Pookie feels that the police don't tell on one another. So why should the citizens tell on Lil Pookie?
Should I take that question?
Yes, ma'am, you can take it.
Is that the end of it?
Just a minute. So that's how they feel, right? So in regards to police accountability, it go two ways, right? We as citizens I don't want a murder on the street. I don't want the old lady that then brought her home and can't go in there because they hollering rocks blow apart and can't feel comfortable and have to deal with the trauma of her own neighborhood, right? So I don't want that. So I understand that part, but people in the streets feel like, why should we tell? And me and them police officers, but I can't go to my superior and tell them. A part of the culture. So it's a two-way street, right? And it's a building the trust. In order for things to work, you got to get the right people at the table. But not, we just constantly spinning circles, right? While people are dying and suffering. And it ain't adding up. At some point, something have to change. Some things have to be modified, right? And a working relationship with the police is possible, right? So I think that should be implemented and brought to the attention of the mayor for it can have a domino effect, meaning that it's acceptable. You ain't got to worry about what your coworker think if he's doing wrong. I don't indulge in criminal activity. I'm not indulging with nobody that deal with criminal activity, right? So if I took an oath, so now I'm held to a higher standard. And it's just not police officers, state attorney, et cetera, go down the line. Everybody should be held accountable, right? In the fight that we in, can't nobody ride the bench. We need police officers. We need the rabbits. We need, all community activists, everybody. Nobody get a free pass. We just can't point the finger at them. They can't solve everything. It's a collective effort, abroad. Some just don't make sense, right? I looked in the hallway, I don't see me a black worker. Not that I'm racist, because I'm not. Some places have to quicken it up, but I don't see it. So it's the resources. In regard, it goes back to the corruption. It don't have a domino effect while the resource can reach there in the city. So that's why they hollering rocks and blows, carjacking and things of that nature.
Brother,
Get to the meat though. Go ahead.
But no, you know what, you are full. And I can appreciate the fact that you wanna be heard. However, you have to understand that communication, there's a receiver, there's a medium, and there's a sender, a receiver, and a medium. You say so much, how can we address it unless you give us an opportunity to segment those concerns? Not trying to stifle your concern. If you notice now, I know there's a portion of that Ms. Terry will answer, but since you referenced the young lady, yes, Carmelita Earls. Forget the position. I preference my comment of Pookie, Ray Ray, and Junebug with what we need first is community accountability. So I did not say your interpretation was turn in or turn in on each other or tell on each other. My preference was community accountability, and I said that we all know that Junebug, Ray Ray, and Pookie lives in our houses. So when you please interpret the terminology that I'm speaking of, make sure it's in its right form. So that being stated, we have them in our family. I'm glad that you say you don't indulge in any form of illegal activity.
By no
or-
means.
Excuse me, or illegal activity. Outstanding. So by no means, a lot of people don't. The 80, 90-year-old woman that you referenced that can't come out of her house, but really accountability will allow us to create that collaborative effort from the preacher to the elected officials, to the commissions, to everyone else. But however, unless we own our own actions and start there, how can we solve it? This space is police accountability and public safety. The safety could be that if Ms. Sorrell, I'll get that. If Ms. Sorrell can see danger coming to me and don't step in, is she accountable? So if I can see danger and not step in, am I accountable? So I'm not, there's so many components and nuances to what's wrong with this entire landscape of Chicago and all of the crime. But the question we can ask ourselves is this: are we doing everything we can to stop it? And that's the accountability and the community accountability that we're going to impress upon everybody listening here, that we do our part. We can point the finger and we can talk about what's not being done, but are we doing our particular part? And in closing, I'll say this. You said that you work with the young people that are out there. Outstanding. Thank you for your work. Continue to occupy your space, and we're gonna occupy ours. Now, Ms. Terry, if you don't mind taking whatever's left of his.
Oh, well, I don't know if there's necessarily a question for me
No,
personally,
fine,
Yeah.
thank you.
but, okay, cause I was about to say, yeah.
No, I don't wanna take up I don't want,
Yeah, no
self-centeredness
problem.
is not a part of my agenda. And somebody, anybody else?
Sir, you have a question in back?
Not so much a question.
It's more, I was gonna say it's a comment.
Yeah, just wait in.
Yes.
Then don't
Yeah, because we got public comment coming right after this.
Well, you know what? Do you guys have any other questions for Ms. Terry?
Yes, questions?
For Ms. Terry? Come on, we're gonna ride that wave. Go ahead, ma'am.
I wanted to ask about the commission. You said that it was you and President Driver that were going over the applications for superintendent. Was it just you two, or was there another part of that committee and you two were just the head of it, but you had to do all that work with all?
Yeah, so essentially, right, it wasn't, the other commissioners did review as much as they possibly had within their capacity, right? Cause like I said, this is not our jobs. However, President Driver and I were the leads, like meaning we were responsible for establishing the process, making sure we had all of the ducks in a row. Like, so for the first round of interviews, myself and he were present for every single interview that first round. But then when we did the second round, it was the entire commission. So you see what I'm saying? So no, everybody was involved, but the level of involvement from the very beginning until we actually got the process going was he and myself. So we did like 8 listening sessions or something. I don't know how many it was, but if you intended any of those, it was he and I. But we also did subject matter expert sessions and things of that nature where other commissioners who had capacity, they participated in those. So it was just, everybody had a hand in it, but it was a different level because we were responsible and charged with leading it.
I see. Yes, I attended the very first one that you and he were.
Right, so
Yeah.
those sessions, he and I
first-
led all of
yeah.
those types of sessions, yeah.
No further questions? Okay.
Give Terry Okay, so now here's where everybody can participate. So, I have some hands on there. So, like I said again, my role on the commission is I am the nominator. So, I will be responsible along with, so each of the, we have 22 police districts. Each police district has the same body, 3 chairperson, community engagement nominator. So I will be working along with the other 21 nominators to help pick the next set of potential commissioners that we'll put before Mayor Brandon Johnson. So it'll be 7 total. So we will have 2 from the west side, 2 from the south side, 2 from the north side, and 1 will be considered a citywide. But this body though, we do have to have 2 youth. We have to have 2 young people between the ages of 18 and 24. So January, the applications will go up, and if you are interested, you can definitely apply. But right now, what we're looking to do, because we haven't started taking applications or anything, is the same way they had the meetings regarding the superintendent. The first time we've ever been able to do that. First time community members ever been able to give input as to what we wanted to see in a superintendent, and that helped to shape the framework, right? It helped to shape the questions that they asked the candidates. And so it's the same thing we have to do for the community commission. So this came out of an ordinance that was created in 2021. So it's 2 parts of the community commission for public safety. One part being the district councils, which I would say we are the community wing of it. And then it's the community commission that deals with just what Ramel Terry said in terms of hiring the superintendent, working on policies, looking at budget. So this interim commission was appointed by Mayor Lightfoot, but the permanent commission will be selected by the district councils and then put forth to our new mayor, Brandon Johnson. So we have information here. I have a QR code if you feel so inclined, but I really would like the paper copies, because one thing, and I told them, I know we don't like surveys, I know we don't really like surveys, but they are very important, right? We need this information. So on the survey, it says in 2021, the Chicago City Council passed an ordinance creating a new model for police oversight, accountability, and public safety. The ordinance creates 2 bodies. I just told you what those 2 bodies are. And so it gives us power to advance systemic reform, and district councils, which will be elected in each police district to work to improve policing and public safety in the district. The commission and district councils will bring police officers and Chicago residents together to plan, prioritize, and build mutual trust, strengthen the police accountability system, give Chicagoans a meaningful new role in oversight, and explore and advance alternative effective approaches to public safety. The commissioners must have a reputation for integrity, professionalism, and sound judgment, have a history of leadership and community involvement, and have demonstrated their ability to work well with a wide range of people, have good judgment, and be independent, fair, and objective. The applications will be posted on January 8th. So before we start answering the questions, I'm gonna read to you what the eligibility requirements are. You must be a resident in Chicago for at least 5 years, immediately preceding the appointment, at least 5 years combined experience in one of more of the following fields. The commission has to have 2 attorneys. It could be more attorneys, but we have to have 2 attorneys. You have to have public policy, social work, psychology, mental health, public safety, community organizing, civil rights, and advocacy on behalf of marginalized communities. Exception for youth. Adequately disclose any personal, professional, or financial conflict of interest that could reasonably be brought to bear upon a person's performance as commissioner. Reputation for integrity, professionalism, and sound judgment. A history of leadership and community involvement. Demonstrated ability to engage effectively with all who have stake in policing, including but not limited to marginalized communities, police officers, and public officials. Demonstrated ability to work in groups in a collaborative manner that reflects sound judgment, independence, fairness, and objectivity. Not an employee of CPD, COPA, which is the Civilian Office for Police Accountability, or the police board in any of the 5 years immediately preceding their appointment, and not a member of the nominating committee. So that is me. So at least 2 commissioners must have 10 years experience as a practicing attorney with significant experience in civil rights, civil liberties, and criminal defense prosecution. At least one commission commissioner must have at least 10 years experience in community organizing with a formal affiliation with community-based organizations. 2 commissioners must be between the ages of 18 and 24 years old at the time of the appointment, not subject to commissioner eligibility requirement, number 2, that's the 5-year piece. At least 2 commissioners must have resided on the north side of Chicago for at least 365 days a year, and the same thing for the south side, same thing in terms for the west side. So if you're interested, I would strongly suggest that you go to the CCPSA website and familiarize yourself a little further about the Community Commission. And when we go through this process, one thing we decided was, because so many of us know so many people, so some of us also know the community commissioners that are sitting now, that we are going to do a blind, it will be blind, so we won't have their names, well, all we have is their demographics and all of their qualifications, and that's so none of us will, prejudice our judgment when making our selections as to who we're gonna put forth before Mayor Johnson. We won't know their names until we pick the 14, but prior to that, we won't know anyone who is applying. And so if you look at what the survey is asking, is that you rank the qualities listed in order on how important the item is for the next commissioner to have. 1 being the most important to you, and 10 being the least important. And again, and it's still new, it's so much information, but this is still very important because it is the first time in the country that community members have been able to have, it's power, that is truly what it is. It's the first time in the country, in the nation, that community members have this type of ability to be able to search for a superintendent. That was never afforded to us before. They were appointed. Now we get to pick this body who will have that kind of power in their hands, where they can inform policy, where they can look at the budget, make recommendations on the budget. And so it's important that we put the best possible people, and we know what our political landscape is like in Chicago. So it's ultra important that we pick the right people and that they operate in the best integrity, because this affects each and every last one of us that reside here. So if you all wouldn't mind just taking a few moments, please. Then on the back side, it has what attributes would you not like to see in your commissioner? What policies do you want to see the next commissioners advocate for? What type of skills and professional experiences do you want your next commissioner to possess? What type of lived experiences, whether it's low income, immigrant, violence survivor, disability, unhoused, other, do you want the commissioners to possess? What questions would you like your district council member to ask the next commissioner? And please share any additional comments. For instance, I'll give an example. Because we did weigh in, there were surveys out for the superintendent, and because I am a survivor, I had a nephew who was shot and killed by police in 2016, and one of the questions that I asked, and it came up in the list of questions that they asked the superintendents, was how do you plan to respond to families who have been impacted by police violence? Because normally they, take the side of the police department, and it's almost like we're not residents, we're not taxpayers, we're not traumatized, we're not harmed. So for me, I want to see some compassion shown, because someone has lost someone that they love, regardless of the circumstances. Someone has lost someone that they love. So that was an important question for me. And so if you all just take some time, and I don't know how many minutes we can possibly do this for, but I absolutely positively need these back, because what'll happen is we'll get a lot of these from the north side and from other communities that don't mind filling out surveys, and then that's the pool we're gonna have to pull from. And so I really need for the 15th district to fill out these surveys.
So do you have the qualifications that we can take with us? Because I'm looking at all this.
I don't have the qualifications, and I don't even know if they.
No, I'm talking about the ones that you just read off.
No,
Can you
this is,
take a picture? Can they take a picture of their phone?
yeah, she can you take a picture with your, or you can go to the website. They didn't give them. Yeah.
Is there a QR code?
The QR, I don't think the QR code even has the qualifications. I think the QR code, let me look at it real quick, but I think it may just have this, it may just have the survey on it. But if you go to the CCPSA website, all of the criteria and everything is listed there. I'm checking now to see what it says.
Okay, well, while she's checking that, listen, if you guys can get your question cards, it's gonna open up for discussion right after this. If you can get your questions, cards together while you're filling out the surveys, that would be very helpful. Now, let's say about 5-7 minutes. It just took me 3 minutes to do it, so I'm sure.
And the QR code only has the application, it doesn't have the qualifications listed there. But I did share with someone from staff that it would be nice if we could have those for people to take a look at. But you can just put some general information down for now, and then you can always hit it. You can fill out as many as you want, because something may change between now and the time we actually need them, something else may come up. I'm gonna put this over on the table if you wanna take a QR code.
Can I have some more of these?
Yeah. And then I have some envelopes if you wanna mail them back to me.
I need like about 10 of these.
You need that, okay?
Yeah, about 10. What are you doing?
So this is a ranking, from 1 to 10.
Ranking from 1 to 10. One being, your most important, and 10 being your least important. Even if y'all can get through that part for me would be phenomenal.
You can't have the 2 ones and 2 bads and 2.
Right. 1 through just 1 through 10.
Yeah, just 1 through 10. 1 being the highest, like you might want, commitment to working closely with the district council, that might be number 1 for you. And then number 10 may be, ability to work closely with CPD. So it's ranked number 1 through 10. You got it. Now, I'm gonna, do I need to borrow my envelope so you can mail them back to me? Or how you,
Yes,
or
give me
did you
some
plan on
envelopes.
coming to our next meeting? You could bring them back to the next meeting.
Because I'm planning to start to my blog and see what they say as well.
That would be awesome. If we have any block club presidents in the room, it would be awesome.
Well, I'm trying to get it started, I'm waiting on one more signature.
Okay.
What block?
And congratulations, by the way.
The 600 blocks north of Lotus.
North
Yeah.
Lotus.
Yeah, so I got the paperwork, but, I need her signature. I guess when she get home, I'll be in the bed.
Yeah, they finished with them.
But you only gave me 5, right? 4.
Oh, wait.
Here,
No, she meant envelope.
Okay, I'm gonna flip this.
Can you put a couple in the envelope?
This one go forward.
I'm gonna see how many I get back. Thank you. See how many I get back. That's all I have to say, see how many I get back.
He said if you send him an email, he can, or a text to tell him he can come and pick
The
them.
lady standing is going to accept your guys' comment cards.
Okay.
You guys good?
You have to waste it.
Oh, that's fine, thank you.
You can only have 1 1 and 1 2
That's correct.
and 1 3.
That's it.
Oh
That's
my
it.
goodness, some of these are so important.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are.
So similar. Why you only have 1?
I mean,
Yeah.
highly
Yeah,
important.
I know,
I've always
I
found
know.
that, I used to do these type of surveys, Likert scale surveys, and
I
you always
know.
have to explain
I
that
know.
a lot.
Well, while you guys are ready, let us first of all, acknowledge the fact that the commissioner, your new commander, Morris, was here, and he left his, Padres. I always butcher her name, Sergeant. Petrosone. But I never forget, Officer Sabu. That's
It was a little short.
And we appreciate the fact that they take time out to come to let you know that, you know, it's not that, they're disengaged, they're engaged in the work that we're doing. So while we're doing that, brother, I know you said you had a comment, please don't leave, we'd like to hear it. Please, well, share it anyway. We can only get better if you give us the feedback.
Yeah,
So
give us
please.
some ambiance while we are looking this out.
The gentleman left, but one of the things that I wanted to kind of touch on was the whole idea of telling the cultural thing. inside of the state itself. It's not an organizational thing, it's not a color thing, it's a habit thing. And from preschool, from the time you're in the school on, they give it different names. So in school, they say don't be a tattletale.
Right.
Right? In the streets, they say don't be a stool pigeon or a rat.
Right.
In business, they say don't be a whistleblower. Right? So
Right.
it's so much, like you said, it's just nuances, and we are in a space where accountability, what does that mean? That means that I understand my book and I understand yours, right? And if we could just talk about those things, right, we can get to it, but that's part of the social order. No one wants to be identified in either one of those categories from either of those perspectives,
Agreed.
right? So it's not so much a matter of what's being said. Me, myself, I don't say a lot of things, but I do a lot of things, right, inside of that space. And I just think, I agree with the gentleman and I agree with what you said. It's great, that we have these interchanges, but the thing is gonna always come back to, don't ask me what I'm doing if you're not doing anything. Right? So I don't wanna tell anyone what they should be doing, right? I don't even wanna ask anyone what they're doing. If you're doing something that I can be of help or service to you, then great, right? Because I have to work out, my own thing with fear and trembling, so to speak,
Yes.
right? And we're never gonna get around that. So any organization, and I'm wrapping this up right now, but it doesn't matter if it's the police, it doesn't matter if it's the Boy Scouts, it doesn't matter if it's Vice Lords and Disciples. You can have beautiful ideological references on paper, right? But the moment that you have people to execute those principles, you're gonna have problems. So the police look like every other organization. They're full of people, and those people may not necessarily be prepared to carry out the office of officer. So it's not the institution, right? So I just wanted to share that, just in terms of how we deal with each other. There has to be a kindness and understanding. You don't see it my way, I don't see it your way. But how do we fix the problem?
That's right. Well, I'm glad you stayed to share that, because that was very profound. And that's how we find the solutions. I don't believe there are any problems. There's opportunities to find solutions. So as long as we hear each other, as long as we, again, as long as you are the sender and the receiver and the medium is understood, we can find the solutions. Are there any other open comments that anyone would like to share? No one?
Public safety and or police accountability concerns that you like to share and put on public record?
Okay, is there anything from the police that you'd like to share with us?
Not necessarily. I mean, there are, I can only speak from my own experiences, but there are a lot of things on the department level that we are definitely on the side of, if you see something, you say something. We have video, and we are very much, if we are holding officers accountable, we are encouraging them, if they see any misconduct, that they must, this is a must, come to supervisor or say what they saw. Because if we catch it and you didn't say anything, you are just as accountable as if you did it yourself. So that is the culture that we are enforcing amongst our officers, which is the right thing. So things are changing. I, again, I've been on the job for 22 years, and I've been very lucky to work with amazing officers that I've never come across a situation. I'm not saying there isn't, but I've been blessed to work with some great officers. And 15th District, I'm so excited. I mean, they're great. But I understand that there have been issues that, a lot of people, but we are definitely pushing that culture as supervisors, that if you have to say something. If you see anything, even if it's verbal, anything, you have to record it. We won't accept that, so hopefully things are changing.
Thank you, we appreciate it. So transparency in our homes, transparency in our relationships, transparency in our friendships. All minds clear, are there any other questions? Counselors? No? Okay, so may I have a motion?
No.
Excuse me? Oh, thank you.
So here in the 15th district, one of the things that we've decided to do is make sure that we show some love to both community members and police officers that have been an integral part of public safety and policing accountability. And so we do that with two different awards. One for the community members are called the Legacy Honors Awards, and the other one is called the Above and Beyond Award. And so month to month, we choose a different community member or officer that represents. In this month, we have decided to go with Cassandra Norman as our Legacy Honors. And so if you just, yeah.
And she's actually a former 15th district police officer.
Yes, I am.
So if y'all give me a second here, let me pull
I
this
was
thing.
gonna say, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, hold on, no, I got you.
You ready to do my Academy Awards?
I got a ton of
Awesome, when did you retire?
2012, almost 12 years.
Yeah, nice. So you were around with Carolyn Brown?
My best friend.
My best friend in school.
Is part of
We went to Graydon High School together. She was away to visit Carolyn Brown.
Oh, really? Yeah, she's my best friend. I still miss her.
We both miss her.
It's a very
Small world. Small world.
They named one of the rooms at Michelle Clark after her.
Yeah, she was their mom. They didn't call her the police officer. She was the mom.
When I retired, she made me be on the local school council. You gotta do something. You gotta keep. I was like, Carol, I'm retired.
All right, so let me read off this bio for y'all. So Cassandra Norman has been a resident of the Austin community for almost 4 decades, mother and caregiver of a 36-year-old disabled daughter. Her employment was as a Chicago police officer within the Austin community for all of her 25-year career. During the years of employment, retired officer Norman had been assigned as a beat officer, tactical officer, domestic violence senior service officer in the CAPS office, and lastly, she was a front desk officer. After her retirement, she went on to serve her community further by volunteering with others to create the SANA, South Austin Neighborhood Association, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. SANA's mission was to improve the quality of life of businesses, residents, and friends of Austin. SANA in 2015 had a street named and dedicated ceremony for Ms. Lillian Drummond, whose birthday is actually coming up. She's over 100 at this point. Then later joining the Austin Community Together Quality of Life Plan to create a safe space as a part of the community narrative. Thereafter, SANA, and with the assistance of the alderman and neighbor space, obtained a vacant lot for the 29th Ward Veteran Peace Garden. The garden was completed in 2018, dedicated to veterans who have served our country, but for the pleasure of the community at large. The Austin Veteran Community Organization is under SANA's umbrella as a veteran community partner. The Veteran Peace Garden has had, with SANA AVCO coordinating over the years, activities such as Memorial Day observance, the mobile barbershop, which were haircuts for the community, summer bingo games, board games for the 4 to 18-year-olds, karaoke, blues evening, the Veteran Day, which takes place November 11th, the recognition of Austin veterans. Oh, that's upcoming actually. November 11th at 11 is coming up? Okay, so November 11th at 11 a.m. there will be a recognition for veterans of Austin on Veterans Day. They've also taken part in a Christmas light display. They've gifted veterans in senior buildings, nursing facilities, different gifts on Christmas. And finally, they have a Mingle and Jingle Jazz at Columbus Park Refectory for the veterans and families every second Sunday in December, and that will go from 1 to 4. It has been Cassandra's pleasure to serve her community.
Thank you
And so I'm responsible for the certificate, but my printer was acting cuckoo and I couldn't get it out, but I just wanna read to you what the certificate says and we will get it to you. I will deliver it to you.
We got you.
So it's the Living Legacy Award. It says you have no idea what your legacy will be because your legacy is every life you touch, and that's from Maya Angelou. This certificate of appreciation and grateful recognition of your community service and dedication, we hereby present Cassandra Norman with the certificate for her service, leadership, and commitment on behalf of your 15th District Council on this day of October 10th, 2023.
Thank you all so much. I feel very honored. I tell you, it's been, as I said, my honor and my pleasure to work in my community. I've been in Austin for almost 40 years. I worked in Austin, got my first job in this building when it was Resurrection. When they give you, I was in high school in Providence, and they give you jobs. So it's been, not knowing that I would live right in Austin at the time when you're a teenager, because I lived in Lawndale. However, it's been my pleasure and an honor to work in the community as a police officer, even as a citizen, and then after retiring, finding a way to serve the community and giving them a safe space to be. Our garden, I'm extremely proud of it because it was one of the works that I saw, even as a police officer, that our community needed a safe space to be. So I thank you, and I will continue to be a public safety officer and a citizen.
Would you come up and take a picture, please, so it can go in our,
Take a gift in your newsletter.
please?
Oh, yes.
You know, I always give these out, I'm a cancer survivor, so I always give those.
In October, I just had my first mammogram.
Outstanding.
I always do it in October.
We won't ask you to demonstrate, just come
Okay.
to the
I really wanted to do that.
I'm sorry, I always want to be a poet, I practice on you guys. Thank you for indulging.
Both ways.
Told you that phone was giving me trouble. I'm glad it's bothering you too.
Hey, thank you.
And everyone, this is Isaiah, this is our community outreach coordinator for 15.
Yes, it is. He's the one who takes care of us. He's gonna write me up because, I tell you what, this is the last day I won't have an agenda because I don't like the non-fluent. So that being stated, let me just say that, before we make a motion to dismiss, Lillian Drummond's 102nd birthday will be celebrated on Friday the 13th, 12 to 2 at 5071 West Congress, 5071 West Congress. I don't know of any other centurions we have in the 15th district. I will be there. So if you guys, if you don't stop, just blow and say well wishes to her and longevity of life. I hope I make it to 102. Good Lord, she looks wonderful, and she still has her own volition. So that being stated, all minds clear. May I have the counselors? Someone make the motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn.
I second the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, it has been motioned, it has been seconded, all in favor, we're gonna say aye and meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time.
Next meeting, please take some of the flyers off the
I'm
table
sorry.
over here. We have our calendar of our flyers, other events that are coming up in the 15th district, as well as our newsletter is over there.
And that next meeting is 11:07 at 5300 on Chicago Avenue. I had it in front of me and I still didn't read it.
Oh, so you are moving.
Yeah, Urban East Central.
Yeah, that's the goal.
We try to go
I'm
around
trying
and
to go to everybody.
get
As we move around and collect emails, then people will be better notified.
Yeah, I reached out to,
Everybody can't make anything, we get it.
and it wasn't even these, it was even the list. Well, I'm glad, Renelle was
Chip
here
Hart.
to kind of share, but I had pulled it up on my phone to share the other responsibilities. So I was telling Anna that she should include that with the other information too, so we can tell people what the commission actually is doing. So that may help better inform